Level 1, the one who bought in 1987. You're 26 years old and you've just bought a three-bedroom house in Parramatta for $78,000. Your mates think you're mad. That's a lot of money in 1987. Your mortgage repayments are $400 a month. You're a factory supervisor earning $30,000 a year. It's tight, but it works. You don't think about capital growth. You don't think about investment strategy. You just wanted somewhere to live that wasn't your mom's house. Fast forward 10 years, the factory closes. You almost lose everything, but the house keeps going up. You refinance, you survive. Fast forward 30 years, that house in Parramatta is worth $1.4 million. You didn't do anything special. You didn't work harder than anyone else. You just bought a house in the right decade. Your kids call you lucky. You call it hard work. But here's the thing nobody says out loud. The Australia you bought into doesn't exist anymore. And deep down, even you know it. Level 2. The one who waited too long. You were 29 in 2019. You had $60,000 saved. You were pre-approved for $640,000. You looked at a townhouse in Reservoir, $580,000. You thought it was too much. The market felt overheated. Every finance podcast you listened to said a correction was coming. You decided to wait. You're 34 now. That townhouse in Reservoir sold for $890,000 last month. Your $60,000 is now $90,000 after 5 years of disciplined saving. The entry point has moved further away than your savings can chase. You're not stupid. You made a rational decision with the information you had. But rational decisions and right decisions aren't always the same thing in Australian property. You still follow the market. You still get pre-approvals. You've come close 4 times. Each time something stops you, the fear of overpaying, the fear of buying at the top, the fear of being wrong. Here's the brutal truth nobody tells you. In Australian property, the cost of waiting has historically been higher than the cost of overpaying. You haven't bought yet. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. But every year you wait, the psychological weight gets heavier. And that weight is the thing that's really stopping you now. Level 3. Buying at the wrong time. You and your partner are 31 and 29, with a combined income of $140,000 a year. You've been renting in Newtown for 4 years, and you are absolutely done with it. Your landlord just put the rent up for the 3rd time. The place has mold in the bathroom. You reported it 6 months ago. Nothing happened. You find a 3-bedroom house in Penrith, $820,000. It's a stretch. Everyone says so. Your broker says you can service it. The bank agrees. You buy it. For the first 2 years, it's fine. Hard, but fine. You're paying $3,200 a month in mortgage repayments. Groceries are going up. Petrol is going up. But you're homeowners now. It feels worth it. Then the rate rises start. By mid-2023, your repayments are $4,600 a month. You've burned through your savings buffer. Your partner drops back to part-time after having a kid. You're now servicing this mortgage on effectively one income. You start using Afterpay for groceries. You tell yourself it's temporary. It's been 18 months. The house is worth $900,000 now. On paper, you're fine. In real life, you haven't been out for dinner since March. You fight about money every second week. Not because you hate each other, because you're exhausted. This is what they don't put in the property brochure. Level 4, the hardworking husband. You're 28. You've been doing fly-in, fly-out at a mine site in the Pilbara for 3 years. 2 weeks on, 1 week off. You're earning $170,000 a year. Cash is piling up because you've got nowhere to spend it on a mine site. After 2 years, you've got an $80,000 deposit. You buy a 4-bedroom house in Baldivis for $550,000. Brand new. You're stoked. But the problem is you're never there. Your partner is home alone in Baldivis with a toddler. No family within 40 minutes. The suburb is still being built. Half the streets aren't finished. You're making great money. On paper, everything is fine. In real life, your relationship is hanging by a thread. You fly home on a Friday. By Sunday, you feel like a stranger in your own house. Your kid calls you by your first name for 3 months when he's 2 years old. That one sticks with you. You tell yourself you'll do 2 more years, then transition to a local job. 2 years becomes 4. 4 becomes 6. The house is paid off by the time you're 38. You've got no debt, solid super balance, and a marriage that survived, barely, because your partner is honestly tougher than you are. You don't talk about the years you missed. But some nights you do the maths on what they actually cost. Level 5, the lifelong renter. You're 31. You live in a 2-bedroom apartment in Footscray with a housemate. You pay $1,090 a month each. You earn $68,000 a year as a social worker. After tax, HEX repayments, rent, groceries, petrol, and phone, you save about $400 a month. At that rate, a 5% deposit on a median Melbourne property would take you 19 years. You've done the maths. You've redone it. You've tried different scenarios. Regional Victoria, a smaller place, a different career. The numbers don't move enough to matter. So you stopped doing the maths. You don't say you've given up. You say you've made peace with it. You've channeled the energy into your super, into index funds, into travel, into a life that doesn't revolve around a piece of land with your name on it. Your friends who bought are stressed. Mortgage stress, relationship stress, maintenance stress. They don't talk about it much, but you can see it. And some nights, not every night, but some, you wonder if the freedom you chose is actually freedom, or just the story you tell yourself to make the alternative feel okay. You don't know the answer to that yet. Neither does anyone else. Level 6, the one with big investments. You're 44. You bought your first property in 2003, a one-bedroom unit in Chatswood for $290,000. You didn't plan to become a property investor. You just didn't sell when everyone said to sell. By 2009, you refinanced, pulled out equity, and bought a second property. Then a third in 2014. Then a fourth in 2019. You now own 4 properties. Combined value of about $3.8 million. Combined debt of about $1.9 million. Net equity close to $2 million. You have a property manager for each one. You claim depreciation. You negative gear 2 of them. Your accountant is worth every cent of the $400 an hour you pay her. At dinner parties, people ask you for tips. You tell them to buy earlier. They tell you that's not helpful. You shrug. You've read the articles. You know people are angry. You've seen the viral posts about landlords. You don't lose sleep over it. What you don't say out loud is that 2 of your tenants are young families who genuinely can't afford to buy right now. You've kept their rent below market rate for 3 years because you can afford to, and because you're not actually a monster. But you don't post about that. Good deeds don't go viral. The truth is, the system was built in your favor. You didn't build the system, but you used it better than almost anyone you know. Is that something to be proud of? You haven't figured that one out yet. Level 7, the kid who saved every cent. You're 24, fresh out of uni. $22,000 in HEX debt hanging over your head like a bad smell. You've been working at a logistics company in Dandenong for 2 years, earning $61,000 a year, living with your parents in Springvale, paying $200 a week in board, saving every cent you can. After 3 years, you've got a $45,000 deposit. You buy a 2-bedroom unit in Footscray for $380,000. Everyone thinks you overpaid. Footscray, really? Your auntie says you should have waited for something better. You didn't wait? That unit is worth $920,000 in 2024. Your mortgage is almost paid off. You're 36 years old and your net worth is over $1 million. You didn't earn it. You didn't predict it. You just had the guts to buy when everyone was telling you the market was overpriced. And now look at your auntie, still renting,